So, Eyal Ben-Ari, CEO of Track 160. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Had a great year end and looking forward for 2022.
Great. We'll talk about 2022. But before we talk about 2022, let us, let the audience know a little bit about what Track 160 does. What is your technology?
So Trek 160 brings data to everyone in sports, okay? And we do that using optical tracking. What's unique about Track is that what others are doing with multiple camera set and manual operation, we do with a single viewpoint camera set and computer vision and very, very advanced algorithms. So essentially, we fully automated the whole data and analytics process from tracking data, event data, video breakdown, and obviously deep insights, and all using software. So we don't have any proprietary hardware, and that's what we do at Trek.
From what we're hearing, what you're doing for the football industry is really, truly amazing. And we saw that Track 160 holds the FIFA EPTS quality certificate. Now, would you please explain to us what does that mean and how does it help your expansion?
Yeah, so FIFA once a year, during COVID, I think they skipped one, but once a year they do a benchmarking of multiple technologies, not just related to our domain, which is optical tracking. And basically, they compare any vendor in the market that would like to join those tests. So we went through that test for optical tracking systems. And by the way, everything is published on the FIFA website. So anyone that would want to see that could just log in there. They have multiple categories. We went through the test and actually got very high marks. Again, comparing to other existing players in the market, which are using multiple camera set and manual operation, we still got it kind of at the top of the FIFA grade. And that's obviously very helpful because when you speak about data in sport, it has to be accurate. It has to be meaningful. Otherwise, it's relevant only for very specific use cases. So for us, it was very helpful to get that kind of credibility by FIFA. That helped us to actually get a lot of traction from where we started with the professional leagues. And we'll speak about it in a second, I guess, but we started with the leagues. And just this year, we launched already 3 leagues, and we're in the process with 2 other leagues. This first quarter of 2022. And this credibility from FIFA is really when people look at it and they want to have data, having that kind of credibility is really meaningful.
Great. So, as you said, and I think your bread and butter is data. So, how is Track 160 democratizing football data tracking?
So, everyone speaks about data, and just in those past questions, we spoke about leagues and FIFA and EPTS, and that's all great. But if you're a youth academy or if you're just a recreational player, you don't have access to those technologies, right? So obviously, when you look at the top leagues, let's call them those 12 clubs that wanted to have the Super Cup. They have access to technologies, right? They can use technology like Track. They can use other technologies, more expensive. They can put many people around that. But that's not available for the majority of the market. And when you look at the numbers, it's less than 1% of the market that actually have today access to data. And we know we live in an era where if you don't have data, eventually you're going to lose, right? So it's really not an even play. And what we do, because we have the ability to extract the same, let's say, FIFA EPTS level of data, do it in a very, very efficient and fully automated manner. Fully automated, by the way, means that yes, you don't need to have all the hardware and all of that, but it also means that you don't need to have the personnel with the know-how of how to operate the data, right? So we can actually automate that as well. That's how we actually bring it to everyone.
So, how does this upcoming World Cup in Qatar going to affect the industry?
Wow, that's a big question. Obviously, I think the effect that we'll see is actually beyond the FIFA. So obviously in Qatar, and everyone that is watching, and that's part of the news. They have the most advanced stadium, wired with technologies from technologies for data extraction, video, fan engagement, right? I think they have everything. I think what we'll see is the combination of data and the experience around that to engage the audience. I think what will come out of that, and just in the past week, there were a few announcements from several companies already. There is a big buzz around the metaverse now, and obviously NFT, which has been around for a year now, let's say. I think what we'll see in FIFA is how those technologies start to actually work together. Okay, so far it was very discreet, and I think in this World Cup we'll see for the first time how those things are kind of coming together to create virtual experience for audience, to maybe then monetize data. Now I'm not sure it's going to be monetized depending on the rights. That's a bigger question for the FIFA, for the World Cup itself. But that to me is going to be kind of the tipping point where we'll start to see the different scattered technologies coming together. And I think that's what the future is going to be after that World Cup.
Now, how is Track 160 preparing for the FIFA World Cup or for these changes that you're talking about?
Yeah, so we're not part of that of the World Cup itself.
So for the changes that you just said, I mean, is this a world that you can fit in?
Definitely. So one of the core assets of the Track solution is the leverage of the 3D skeletal tracking, right? So imagine that you could actually not only track the player, but actually create a 3D image of a player, and also do automatic calibration, meaning that we have we have the kind of a 3D mapping of the whole stadium or pitch or venue with the players in them. Okay, and that's part of what we do. So I think there's going to be a lot of interesting innovation coming out from Track, and the market should stay tuned for that. In a more, I would say, shorter term, we already, because we take the data into the, let's say, the sub-elite or the wannabe professional, which is the second, I would say, building block in our strategy. We started with the professional leagues. Now we're actually launching with the wannabe professional, which is, let's say, youth level, age 14 and up. When the game is structured, players want to be professionals. That's where we'll start to actually have, obviously, not only the data, but actually content which is derived from that, and then ability to maybe monetize the content or at least share the content, leverage those new technologies.
So before we finish, let's talk about 2021 and 2022. So if you could choose what was the biggest jump that Track 160 did in this last year, 2021, and what is the biggest jump coming in 2022?
So I think the biggest jump for Track in 2021 was the launch of those leagues. In parallel, it was a very busy summer. We launched actually 3 leagues in parallel during the summer, which is crazy. We also launched real-time tracking, okay, and that's actually expanding our use cases from just but from player development also to broadcast enhancement. So that was a really major breakthrough on the technology side, but on the business side, obviously, that was kind of a completely different game for us working with those leagues. And we have a great momentum there. But I think the biggest jump for Track this year is going to be the addition of what I call the wannabe professional or the lower level. And we're launching a very big program in APAC and in the US around that. So that's going to be, I think, the most significant event. Aside of obviously keeping pushing the technologies, as I mentioned before, with very cool innovation around our core asset.
So it sounds like you're approaching new audiences in this coming year.
Yeah, we're expanding the audiences of people that could actually leverage the data, which is really our vision, right? Our vision is that I want to have our solution placed in every pitch, providing data to every player, parent, fan, coach, everyone out there. That's really our vision. Takes some time to get there. We can't start, in all tiers, in all territories, in all pitches, in all sports in day one. But we're really making our headway there.
So, Eyal Ben-Ari, CEO of Track 160, I would like to thank you very much for being with us and wish you the best of luck for 2022.
Thank you, and good luck for everyone in this industry. I think we're the whole industry is in a great momentum.
Yes.
Bringing those capabilities to everyone. I think it's exciting.
Amen. Amen. So thank you
Okay,
very much.
thank you.